This conference will now be recorded.
All right, call the meeting to order.
Unmute yourself.
All right, now we will call the meeting to order. Is there any additions or corrections to tonight's agenda?
No. It's just the, you gotta push and hold it for like 1 second.
All right, hearing none. As far as additions or corrections, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Second.
Motion's been made and second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's passed. Minutes from May 18th, 2022.
I think you did a great job summarizing, Miranda. That was a lot to write.
Approve.
Second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Monthly financial report, accounts payable.
Yeah, so pretty normal with the Excel Energy charges. The card member services, that was for a webinar signed up for in the past month. That's just a $10 webinar. The LMCIT is a general insurance check that comes out annually. I talked to Kim about it. It covers things like personnel to the festival, for example, takes place in the parks. We have insurance coverage for it. But other than that, pretty normal month.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the financial report.
I will second that. Any further discussion? Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Public hearing, none. Old business, none. New business. Apartment tours.
Yeah, so the new apartment building is coming to be complete any week now. I've been speaking with the developer last week and over the weekend, and I relayed the sentiment of we'd like to see it before it opens. So he found a date, and it's going to be June 24th at 2 p.m. I've invited the Planning Commission last night at the Planning Commission meeting tonight. Obviously this invite, and then I'll invite City Council tomorrow. So I put it under new business in case we want a motion to send someone there, but otherwise it can just be open for everybody as well. If you want to check out the new apartment building before it opens. They haven't given a date yet, just because as you can see, there's still some things needed with it and they don't want to throw out a date and then have contractors backed up or supply chain issues, et cetera. But it's opening soon. They have a date in mind. They won't share that yet either, but before that opens, later this month or next week. Is that next Friday already? Next Friday, tour at 2 p.m. if anybody wants to go on a tour.
It's just meeting there, meeting.
I told the Planning Commission, they asked that as well. I said we should just meet here and we can just walk the 2 blocks. I've taken tours of it with Andy Bartman before, and he sometimes shows up here, sometimes shows up there. So if we all just meet in one spot, we'll go together at least. So I say meet here maybe 5-10 minutes before, and we'll just walk the block down there.
So, may I ask a question?
Yep.
That's cool. I very much like to see it.
Yeah.
At a previous meeting, I thought I heard someone mention that all of the apartments are rented. Is that true or not true?
That is what we've heard. We've heard that their wait list is longer than the number of units.
That's what I thought I had heard. Which indicates that they're all rented, but they have a now leasing sign outside.
I was going to say, so what they're doing is they don't have all the apartments signed leases.
Got it.
They just have interested parties right now. Yeah, so I believe there's probably, yeah, yep. They mentioned that the wait list was quite long. I mean, even going back to the middle of winter. But I feel like it's one of those things where the busy season to move is usually towards the end of a school year. And then now if this gets delayed, some people can't wait.
I was just curious.
Welcome, Terry. Nope, that's fine. If, and thanks for setting that up. It's great to be able to go through it. If that doesn't work,
The time?
or they, I mean, is there a chance to just walk over and go in?
So I want to say the answer is yes, because I just spoke with Tina today and she's already toured it recently. She just disclosed that she just went and met the property manager and got a tour. I don't think she did the full tour of the ins and outs of
Sure.
things, but I think she went and got to see a room,
Oh.
a model room or something. So there is always that opportunity as well. This one's just more so the developer will walk us through, so, you know.
Right. And
answer
that's
questions.
great. I just, that date and time doesn't work for me, but that's
Yeah.
fine. I hope everybody else can make it.
Yeah, I can't make it either, so if there was another time, that would be great.
Sorry, what was the date?
So we're on new business, 7. It's just the first item of order here on the agenda. There's a tour of the new building on June 24th at 2 PM. If you're interested in checking it out, the developer is going to be, he invited the planning commission, EDA, city councils, boards and commission members if they're interested in getting a tour before it opens. So that's kind of what we're just discussing right now. Yep, and it's, if people can't come, that's totally fine as well. I can let them know that and stuff, but I don't think they anticipated each board and every commission member and city council and all that coming either, so.
Right.
But open invite is what it is.
It's not just this group, it's others for that time frame.
Yep. I invited the planning commission, and then tomorrow I'll put it in my reports for council. See if any council members want to come. So yeah, I mean, I suppose, check your schedules too. You can always email me and then I'll let them know the number of attendees coming too.
Okay. Again, thanks for setting it up. Anything else on that? Any further questions? If not, I suppose we can move on to reports. I'll let you follow up, Dylan.
All right, so last month I mentioned how I'd give a report of the Edom conference that I went to. I was up at Grandview Lodge in Nisswa. If any of you are familiar, just a beautiful site. My first time attending an Edom conference and being at their resort. So what I did was in your packet, I have a couple pages of information. I won't sit here and read each one of them to you, but just to summarize, it was overall a very good conference. I believe there was over 100 attendees. There was things from supply chain on the first presentation. The more interesting part was the site selection commentary. That one was a panel of 4 people discussing that topic. And to summarize it, we're not the only community with our workforce development in need of more employees. It's a common theme everywhere right now. The second one was one I was very interested in just because I brought up this company last month in a childcare update. It was a presentation by First Children's Finance. And it was essentially them talking about their success stories with childcare initiatives. Everything's from they have small grants available to technical assistance for startups of in-home or childcare type projects. The next one was how to fill your downtown spaces. This one, I didn't really have my eyes going into it just because, we're blessed here in Sombrero with low vacancy rates with, our businesses and our buildings, but it was perhaps the best presentation of the bunch. The presenter did a good job and they offered some good solutions of if vacancies arise. So everything from setting up tours of those vacancies to ordinance amendments, which might be a little much, but it was a good presentation of just a combination of what some other cities have done to combat vacancies within their historic districts. Succession planning was an interesting one as well, and I'm going to hear that one again tomorrow at another conference, but the story was about a vet clinic, and I believe it was Blue Earth. Blue Earth is not much smaller than us, and they only have one vet clinic, and that gentleman was retiring, and there was no one to replace them, but obviously a vet is a vital part of a local economy there. So what they did was they installed a succession planning program in order to get a new one and get them trained in and not have to start from scratch. The other interesting part of this is there's a report out there that was read that in southeast Minnesota alone, in the next 10 years, there's over $5 billion in assets that are going to change hands just due to the population of who's retiring and who's replacing. You think about in a lot of small towns, the mom and pop shops sometimes are owned by those who are at retirement age but haven't retired. And then if you ask them what their plan is for retirement, they haven't put too much thought towards it. So succession planning is a hot topic right now, just due to an aging population, aging generation of business owners and things of that nature. The last two were just updates from Deed recapping their year. And then the state of Minnesota was more of a, I'll call it like a factual update. They commented on post-pandemic population levels and unemployment and things of that nature. And that was my report of the conference. I summarized it more than I thought I would, but if you want to read more details, you can read this report that was written up. Any questions?
Do they have fun stuff going on? So you guys do more than just listen to topics?
Yeah, they had, like half of it was outdoors. So when you eat lunch, it was outdoors. It was nice enough weather, I should say. It was partly overcast, but it was 60 to 70. There was like lawn games and group activities. There was always like bingo going on every day at like 12 or 1. A bar would open up and there's drink tickets. So that's always fun too, Yeah, it was a good time.
So you get to do some networking with other.
Yep, I would say that's perhaps one of the biggest advantages of any of these conferences is just meeting other people, not only in your position, but, especially getting perspectives and insights on these topics from other professionals within anything from economic development to, you name it. So it was a good event for that as well, just because of the number of attendees, which I would strongly recommend this event for, EDA specifically. Every year, it should be something that should be pursued, their annual conference, EDAM's annual conference, that is.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. Housing Summit.
So if you recall, last year I helped work on the Housing Summit for Goodhue County. This year it was able to take place at a normal time in June. It kind of came up out of nowhere, maybe because I was out of the loop because I wasn't working on it, because I got the email a week before. But it was still a webinar, the Goodhue County Housing Summit. It was about an hour and a half. Some of the topics I just listed out here was USDA, SEMCRA, Minnesota Housing Finance, all talking about programs they have available for housing, redevelopment specifically in housing. That was probably the biggest topic. So blighted areas of towns or places in need type of programs available. And the last one was more so of a story from Red Wings Housing Redevelopment Authority about how they were able to take their historic downtown and renovate the previously unused second story and turning it into residential, which we kind of have that here too. Sometimes when I go to a lot of these things or hear these webinars or conferences, we're kind of blessed with low vacancy rates. We already have we kind of have some of the things that some people do not. So we're very fortunate for that one. And that's kind of the recap on that. Like I said, it was about an hour and a half housing summit for the year for Goodhue County.
Okay, and the community development update.
Yeah, so I know this is a shorter agenda than especially last month, but I wanted to still be here in person to relay this one face to face. Over the last couple of weeks, probably 6, 7, 8 weeks, I've received multiple offers for my services. After weeks of consulting and deliberation, I ended up taking one that would take me away from this chair right here. It will be with CETA as director of planning for the company. I'll be establishing a planning department in collaboration with their economic development initiatives to kind of go hand in hand and start something new. They were all very good offers is what I'll say. So it was overall a good problem to have, but this is a report about changes upcoming within the department. But the good news is, even though I won't be here in this chair in this capacity going forward, I will be, or I should say, the city for the past few months has been working with CETA to extend the contract for an extra 2 days a week. Sarah knows about it, being on council. And that position is going to work a lot with EDA initiatives, especially our action plan. So on the interim, I will be filling that role until a more permanent solution is found for that. But so I still may show up, let's say, but not sitting in this capacity. Other updates would be the interview process has already begun. We've done 2 interviews with candidates who have gone through the process with CETA. And the next step would be working with them to bring them before the personnel committee. So in all likelihood, there'll be someone else in this chair next month, or Brian maybe in the meantime type of thing. But that is that update. Yeah. Any questions?
And you're moving.
I already moved. I just moved this past weekend. Yeah, so after this, I have a 50.1 mile drive to where I'm going. But yeah, moving, changing of job, it's kind of it's not messy, but I've never changed jobs, but also stayed in the same job type of thing. You know what I mean? It's like still working that out. But yeah, so some changes are coming. And that's that update.
Where'd you move to?
Apple Valley. It was, my arm got twisted, let's say, by my other half. She works in Edina. So, we at first, before even new jobs, the plan was to move in together at this stage in the relationship type of thing. We looked in Cannon Falls, inventory there is so low, there's not much to pick from. Then you got Farmington, which I don't know if you guys have been to Farmington, but the prices there are the same as the city. So why would you live in Farmington when you don't have the amenities? So then it was, okay, we're just 10 minutes north of the Farmington border in Apple Valley, and then you kind of have everything. So she's 25 minutes from work. I would have been 45 minutes from work, but then the new job came along too. So that's going to present some flexibility.
So we're going to be hiring a new EDA director
Yep.
to fill your position. And then you're going to also work 2 days a week
Yep.
as this special liaison, but only on a temporary basis. So then they're going to hire somebody additionally to fill that position?
In all likelihood, but it could be months or the rest of the year for the 2 day a week. So the plan is there's going to be a new community development director who's going to be in this capacity in this chair. I will, on the interim basis, undertake the new contract with CETA for 2 days a week, just because, on the topic of workforce development right now, there's not as many people applying for jobs, and there's more people looking for jobs than there are people applying. So I know the position. I helped create the position. We went before council with the city staff did. So I'll be taking that and kind of establishing that as well, which is a plus for me. I mean, why wouldn't I want to do that? Something I was passionate about. Just more help for the city and more help for economic development in general. But yeah, so I will, like I said, there's going to be a new community development director in this capacity. It might not be my last time at an EDA meeting in case something gets procured or, et cetera, but it won't be in the similar capacity. So yeah.
Once this new person is hired to replace you, are you going to be overlapping at all just to see some training and continuity and?
Yep. So there's nothing set in stone, but the plan is for those 2 days a week, I will be available for literally everything from, I was just talking with Miranda before this, where's the stapler to where's that developer agreement?
Sure.
You know what I mean? Which I think is a tremendous value to that next person, being able to have a resource there for however long needed until they, get their feet under them type of thing.
Yeah, that's good. Well, it's because like those 5 things that I sent you before the meeting, Drew, but
Yeah.
so that the stuff that we discussed 2 months ago, last month, 3 months ago,
Yep.
don't get lost or dropped, that we continue to keep
Yep.
updates and information coming. Well, good luck to you. I'm sorry to see you go. I've appreciated your work and all the things that you've done to help us get through.
Are the candidates that you've interviewed so far, are they from within CETA already, or are they from outside of CETA?
From outside of CETA. Yep. normal years, some CETA person would fill it on an interim basis. That's they've done in the past. I don't remember what was the girl's name after Dan? Abby, something like that. But like I said, there's more open positions than there are people to fill them at this time, so it's solely seeking external candidates.
Do you have a timeline as far as when the committee, the local committee would be interviewing?
So I have a meeting set up next week to discuss the interviews that I conducted with two of the applicants. And I'm likely going to be recommending one. And then I don't know if that's going to go to another interview or it's going to go straight to the personnel committee. That's what we're going to try to figure out at this point next week. But I guess the hope would be in 4 weeks, before that, someone's hired and at least in the position, just because that's a month away. But yeah.
Okay, well, good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Kind of an exciting thing to start a new department.
Yeah, like I said, all the offers were really good. One from the city as well, but it was just, like I said, the way I described it is it was a good problem to have, but it was weeks of, Miranda probably knows the stress of it, day in and day out of not knowing what's happening. But this one is an exciting position. It presents the best overall opportunity considering work and life too. So that's always a consideration.
Right. Anything else? Comments, questions, concerns? If not, we are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.